Hey, it's your girl Angela,
It's your guy Mike D.
and we are the Uncomfortable Truths podcast, presented by NSN, live from Brown Sugar Water Studios.
We created this podcast to have unfiltered, unapologetic, and authentic conversations through the lens of a Black millennial couple.
We'll be sharing stories about everyday life while also providing insights. So kick back, grab your drink, and let's get into the uncomfortable truth. Hey babe, how you doing?
Yeah, what it do?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I am great. I am fantastic. It is date night. Our second one. First one went well. Well, let me not speak for you. For me, I loved it. We went to Howie's Bayou. Got some, what did they call it? Authentic Louisiana food or something?
Yeah.
So we went there. We got some cupcakes from a Black-owned bakery.
Cupcakes was so good.
Yeah, dessert before dinner.
Dessert before dinner. Can we have dessert before dinner tonight?
We are grown-ups. We can do whatever we want.
Turn the fuck up. Okay.
So what did you think about the first date night?
I thought that it was really good. I can't wait till we have an episode about it. I think it's just what we needed in our relationship.
Hey.
Because every day is kind of like back to back to back to back. And since we have date night on Wednesdays, it's kind of like, all right, I get to look forward to something in the middle of the week. So
Yep, I like it. Yeah.
I'm happy.
4th of July is coming up.
I don't celebrate that shit.
Well, we are having a barbecue though, but it's not a celebration of that. But a lot of people are traveling, going out of town. So my assigner for basketball games, he texted me like, "Hey, can you do Saturday?" I was like, "Yep." He like, "Hey, can you do Tuesday?" I was like, "No," because I do We Think It's a Sport Show. Go check that out. New episode up right now. He said, "Can you do Wednesday?" I said, "Nope, I can't do Wednesday." I like, yo, Tuesday and Wednesdays are blocked out every single week. Like, I'm never doing Wednesday. And we talked about it. The old me would have been like, "Hey, babe, like, can we move date night to Thursday or Sunday? Or, I've got these games I want to ref and this and that." I would have, like, tried to ref the games. And then you would have been the one getting the short end of the stick. Not now. I passed those days, and I told him, nope, the money is not even worth the conversation that we would have. So I'm looking Saturday date night, and that is Wednesdays are blocked out from anything. So I'm dedicated to date night, our weekly date night.
Amen. And for those of you who are confused as to why I don't celebrate July 4th, feel free to listen to our I've Been Taking Juneteenth Off episode. That pretty much explains it.
I mean, unless this is your first episode listening to us.
It might be.
Well, okay.
Welcome.
A shout out to the new listeners.
Hey, little boo.
We appreciate you checking us out. We do a weekly podcast. Comes out every Friday. So please keep listening. So rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes, and share.
And share. But if this isn't your first episode, then we shouldn't have to explain. What's understood doesn't need to be explained.
I'm always looking for new listeners, so just wanted to put that out there. But all right. Absolutely.
But shout out to our faithful listeners too.
Yeah, shout out to our faithfuls. Okay. Making up words and stuff.
All right, so date night tonight. How's your energy?
I feel like I'm pretty high up. Just got out the shower because we went for a run. Well, I jogged and you walked. So yeah. I feel good, energized. Sipping on my little seltzer, which is 100 calories, 1 grams of sugar, 3 carbs, and gluten-free.
All right. Oh, it's gluten-free? I got the gluten-free drinks.
Look at this. No animal byproducts or whatever the fuck gluten means.
I think gluten is like flour.
Oh, why would flour be in seltzer?
I don't know.
Not even trying to be an airhead, but like, seriously, why would gluten be in a seltzer anyway? They just put that shit on there for marketing.
Yeah, just for marketing, just for vegans. They'd be like, oh, look, I'm gluten-free. People feel better when they say, yeah, I'm gluten-free.
True. When they can say 100 calories.
Yeah.
It's still 100 calories.
All right. So your energy is good. My energy is good. We got big pie energy today. Check in. Everybody love Lily. Where's Lily at today?
She's under your desk.
Yes,
licking her little paws. Lita, what you doing down there?
Lita has been following me around all day. Yeah. I don't know if I got some bacon in my pocket. And
if you did, I would eat it.
I don't know if we got some SpongeBob watchers out there. But it's this one episode
where the snail,
where Gary was following Patrick around, and SpongeBob was so jealous. But basically, Patrick had like cookies in his pocket or something. I think this was going on with Lily.
I am not jealous.
She's been following me around all day.
She wakes me up every morning at like 5:30 or 6. Like I am not jealous.
That is not me.
We have our time in the morning.
Okay.
And we also take naps together. But
all right, perfect. So let's get into it because we do have date night. So we want to get this pod started. So let's hop right into it then. What is the topic for today?
We talking about white people shit. Baby, you want to explain what white people shit is?
White people shit. White people shit is what black people say whenever they see things that, I guess black people normally wouldn't do.
That white people would do.
That white people would do. Like,
or what they think white people do.
Like, for example, raisins and potato salad.
What?
White people shit.
They do that? See, this one I'll be going to y'all cookouts. Don't invite me.
Green bean casserole or something?
Pumpkins and macaroni and cheese.
What?
Yes. Actually, I had that at my old job. It was not that bad. But it was some black cooks. But they ordered the pumpkin macaroni and cheese. But still, anything with pumpkin is like just some white people shit.
Yeah. Right? So, so that's what we call white people shit. Whenever, like, dogs kissing people on the mouth, white people shit.
Oh, I got some more. Keeping your shoes on in the house. Okay.
But going outside barefoot though.
Going outside. Look.
Shoes in
y'all
the house.
Got my soul is out. My soul is out. We all for the count right. No shoes outside. Not washing your hands or washing it for like 1 second or less. And and you said letting your pet kiss you in the mouth or having your cat or pet up there on the counter with you while you cooking.
Yep. So right, but that's call it the extreme white people shit.
Extreme. We used to live by.
Well,
all that.
No. I'm just saying like those are things that are normally exclusive to white people shit. But this podcast, we are talking about things that black people do. And
some black people keep their shoes on inside the house, judging y'all. Don't come up. Don't be expecting to come up in our house and have your shoes on. You gonna either get them little slips to put over your shoes, or you gonna take your shoes off. Because guess what we gonna have? We're gonna have house shoes.
Yeah,
but you also gotta be vaccinated. Periana. Go ahead, boo.
So, right, we talking about the things that black people do that other black people quote unquote judge them for and call that white people shit. So we not going super extreme. We not talking, I guess skydiving, which is not really black white people shit either. But we not talking about tasteless food and no rhythm. Like we talking about stuff that black people just do on a normal basis, and a black person come out of nowhere. But that's not white people shit.
Let's get into the story. Let's add some context now that we defined it. Now that we have a working understanding between us and the listeners.
Yep. So basically, as people are figuring out, I don't have a lot of time, free time, because we have to schedule date night to make sure that we get quality time. We talked about quality time versus quantity of time. I work from 7 to 4. And then I ref from, say, 6 to 10 every night. So I got a small window of stuff. And including the podcast and all these different things. So my brother texts me like, yo, we ain't talking a couple of days. Like, either we talking today or we talking tomorrow. And I said, let's talk tomorrow. I ref today, 6 to 10. And this was on Monday. So he was like, all right, what time tomorrow? Which would have been Tuesday. I said, I got the pod at 7 and we eat dinner at 6. So let's talk at 5. He texted me back. He said, yo, that's white people dinner time. So I started dying laughing. I'm like, what? I was like, then his response was, do y'all drink milk with dinner too? And I'm like, damn, he just killing us.
It sounds like jealousy, but whatever.
No, I don't know if it sounds like jealousy. But I would say, so I went to Facebook. You know me, I'm an avid go to Facebook person with questions. Whenever we have a party, I'm like, yo, where should we go for our pizza?
What type of vacuum cleaner should we buy?
Vacuum cleaner. Like I go to the people. I'm a man of the people, so I went to the people.
Politician.
And I asked them, like, yo, what time do y'all eat dinner? And if somebody say that I eat dinner at white people time, what time do y'all think that is? So what time do you think they were saying on the stat, baby?
5 to 7.
All right. So I'm just going to read a couple of the stats that people wrote. Because, I said, my question is, what time do you think I told him, and what time do y'all eat dinner? So everybody was saying, definitely 4 to 6. No later, though. 6, between 3 to 5.
What?
But say, well, we eat dinner around 8 most days. 6, 6:30, 5:30, 4 to 6, around 6, 4 to 5 prison time.
That's your cousin.
So 6 to 7. So it's pretty much a good range of 4 to 6. The latest is really like 6:30, which I was like, oh shit, like that's what time we eat dinner, between 6 and 6:30 every day. So I guess technically we kind of are on white people time, and then comparing to what I see. People are saying they eat dinner, 1 a.m. or work nights, 10 p.m. Like, it was people eat dinner at 11. Like, it's just go.
People eat dinner when they just hungry.
Yeah, when they hungry, 6 to 9. Like, might be 9 p.m., 10:30. So I'm like, damn, y'all eat dinner, like, when we are in bed.
That's why everybody big bone. That's why everybody big bone.
Let's wait. We're not going there yet.
I'm going there, but I just want to shout out Marcus, like, thank you for giving us inspiration, and for everybody who comments on your status for giving us inspiration to even talk about this topic. And for this to just be one example. Mind you, this is the first time I've ever heard of that dinner time being white people time, because I used to eat dinner with my mom at that time, like, every night. And in college, I ate dinner, well, we're not going to talk about college, but yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's the first time I heard about that.
Okay. So, pretty much for the explanation of why we eat dinner at this time, we started this last year.
Yeah.
Because during football season, on Monday, I was shooting the Overdue Bills podcast around 7 on Mondays. Get your merch. Tuesday, it was We Think It's a Sports Show. Wednesday was Everybody Eats B. Me and Rad was doing that. Thursdays was off, and then Friday we was doing a fantasy show. So I had 4 or 5 podcasts Monday through Saturday that I was doing weekly, and then on Saturdays we had an interview for Overdue Bill. So I was busy as hell last year podcasting. Shout out to Overdue Bills. So and we would just never have dinner together. Like, I would eat dinner at 10:30, and you eat dinner by yourself. And one day you just said,
at white people time.
And you just said, like, yo, I want to have dinner together. I said, okay. If that's the case, then we have to eat dinner at 6.
Yes, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
Especially when one of us is cooked.
So I don't think we would eat dinner at 6 if it wasn't for that. Maybe we would do like 7:30 a little later, so we wouldn't have to eat again. But 6 is the time where we are both free. But also, you mentioned it. It is a little healthier to eat dinner before, like, a couple hours before you can digest it before you go lay down. So you want to get on your big bone bag now?
I already got on it.
Are you good?
I'm off it. Now, mind you, I am big bone, so I'm going to take responsibility for that. I'm working on that. Some pandemic weight is some depression weight. But I've been running. I ran 20 miles this month. How many miles I ran?
I don't know, but you came in first place
in our little group. So, like I said, I'm still trying to get off my pandemic weight. It's always been hard for me to lose weight, but I know that me having to move up my dinner time won't be a problem, because check, I already done that. Mike, we already there.
Mm-hmm.
So, bam.
Yeah.
But look, honestly, if you have different type of work shifts, this doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
But this is like, okay, you work 9 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 8 to 4. or maybe you're not working. This applies to you, and especially if you use the term white people time to describe dinner. Yep. So like all love, but like let's honestly have like a real conversation like around this. Like what's the uncomfortable truth around this? You know what I'm saying? So, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. So. We definitely get into that. So okay, so but that was right. It was a joke, right? It's dinner. No biggie. Like if you eat dinner at 10:30, then that's on you. We eat dinner at 6. No harm, no foul. Well, you and I, we both experienced that white people shit in real life. So do you want to give some examples of, times when people, put that white people shit label on you, and how did that make you feel?
I think the most, the time that sticks out to me is when I came back from school, like after freshman year.
Okay.
And I was, I decided to be like really critical of like cultural things, because that's what I was doing in class. I was like critiquing culture and stuff like that, and using a somewhat feminist lens, or a black feminist lens, where I'm like, okay, well, black woman this, da da da, and like my cousin and I think my cousin was just like, oh, that's just like some white people shit, and then my mom like low-key agreed, and for me that made me feel like, well, this is how I'm thinking right now. I'm just coming back from school. Like, have some patience. Like, honestly, at the time, I know, like, my ears were, green behind the ears and stuff, whatever that little.
So wet behind the ears.
Yeah, wet behind the ears, whatever. But I did feel offended. Because I'm like, well, what, like, who the fuck you gotta go to school with? Like, right. Georgetown is not an HBCU by any means.
Nah, it's straight PWI.
Straight PWI. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, that's kind of how I was seeing the world. And for me, it's like, dang, you just gonna shit on my view like that? So that's how I felt. And I still might not be over that. So that's why I'm still going through my therapy little activities or whatever. Because I still hold anger towards people. But that's one time that stuck out in particular. Other than that, I don't really talk to people who say that types of things, because we kind of I talk to people who do eat dinner at a certain time, or we don't even talk about eating dinner, but we just kind of just have similar understandings of things. Like, we just don't say that.
Okay. Well, I know, like, we read the Michelle Obama book, Becoming Together, and in there she talked about how when she went to go visit her cousins or something, they said that she talked like a white girl. Did you ever experience that? Because you do, speak the proper English?
Oh, sometimes Miss James does say that.
Oh, really?
She's like, sometimes you talk like this and it's like that. And I'm just like, Mom, I have to code switch in school.
Yeah,
like,
I heard that.
But here's the thing. I didn't know I was code switching, and I still sounded more black than everybody else who talked like that.
100%.
But it's crazy. But to our ears, it's like, oh, she talked like a white girl. But at work, I used to know when I used to do it, I'm like, okay, let me put on this voice versus that voice. I don't do that shit no more. I don't do that shit at all. You gonna phone me, I'm like, what up?
Oh, you don't have to anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to. So that's another thing. But it's like, well, I'm trying to like work out that code switching.
Okay.
And if you don't know what code switching is, it's like we talk one way for one group of people and another way with another group of people to like assimilate or fit in with people that you're speaking to, your audience.
Mm-hmm. I think our audience knows what code switching is.
Some of them might not.
We got a very intelligent
I don't know
audience. Shout out to y'all.
If we have any Gen Z, they may not know.
I don't know if we got any Gen Z. We got any little babies out there listening to us right now?
Y'all want a hug? I want to hug a Gen Z.
Stay in school. So, I would say, yeah, I experienced that as well, right, too. And you and I talked about this when we first met. It was to the point where I didn't think that I would end up with a black woman because all the black women thought I was into white women. And it was because how I carried myself, right? They said, oh, I didn't think you even like black women. I'm like, why? Look, I dress like I'm black. But you're like, yeah, this is the way you carry yourself. Why? Because I don't carry myself like I'm on a block. And that's when you get into what we think about men. And if men not, sagging, they not wearing, whatever if they wear shoes, if they wear nice shirts, button up shirts, and just look professional, right? We look at them as if they are they play either like white women or they play for the other team. Right?
Let me tell you something. When I met you, I knew you wasn't a black woman. I just knew it, and that never was a thought in my mind. So to think about the type of person who would say that to you. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy they missed out on the opportunity, because to me, like, you were a cool drink of water. I say yes. I'm about to, like, this is mine. Like, okay, anybody else in this ring, you better bow out, bitch, because I'm here.
I would say this. I would say this, that the women that were saying that, not to throw shade or anything like that, like, right, they weren't college educated. And they more so may have been from the hood. Like, I'm from the hood, so I ain't throwing no shade at that. I'm just saying that when they see a black brother who's an engineer at GM, I got my own spot, and I was living in like the white neighborhood.
And you had a nice car.
Nice car.
With leather seats, y'all.
Nice car. And I not that I talk super proper, but I decent English.
You know how to put dressing on your language.
Yeah, I know how to fit in when I need to at work and stuff.
Come on.
So between all of that, and I do have white friends, and I play golf, which is another thing about I'll bring up later. Right? You see a lot of that, and you just assume like, okay, he's not from the hood. He grew up and whatever, he's Jack and Jill. He's gonna end up with some white woman.
I know Jack and Jill niggas. They is different.
And so for the longest time, it was just like, even women that I liked, they were like, "Oh, I never thought you would like me. I thought you just like white women." I'm like, "What?"
So why are you even talking? All right.
So, but obviously, right.
I'm done.
I could never end up with somebody like that because y'all.
I was checking for authenticity.
Well, just like the limited, like their view of things is too limited for me, right? I need to be a full person, and if I'm too worried about keeping it real and making sure she know I'm down, it's like I don't have time for that shit. Like I have better things to do than to prove to people that I'm black.
Well, that's a whole word. We're going to make this into a clip.
Clip. So but for me, I do a lot of things that can be considered white people shit. Right? You talked about how I had a picture of Henny and I was on a boat. Right? A lot of people, if you follow me on Snapchat back in the day, shout out to Dirk, I was on that boat like, every other weekend.
I thought it was a nice boat, y'all. I got jinxed.
So people see that. I play golf, but my dad is a big golfer. So they see that, like, oh, I play chess. They're like, oh, I got an engineering degree. They like, oh.
What about, tell them about the time you wore fitted pants.
Oh, so we were talking about this earlier. Back in the day, I want to say 6th grade, because I was in uniform. 6th or 7th grade. Went to the store. My mom bought me some pants. These pants were fitted. Mind you, remember the time? 2004? 2005?
Wow, I was
like
2 years old.
Oh my God, here you go. That's close to in my white tee. If you know what that means, that's 5X white tee. That's 40 lift pants. Like everybody just walking around looking like a fool with your pants on the ground.
I was 2 years old, just bouncing. That
was the height of that. So one day I wore some fitted pants to school. Whoo! I got roasted for periods. I mean, they weren't even tight. They were just fitted. And it was like, man, you dress like a white boy. You dress like a white boy.
What'd that do to little Mikey?
And I made sure that I bought the biggest pants. I was in the big and tall after that. To the point, like, I just started wearing fitted clothes like during college, damn near. And that's kind of what it did. The fact that I could no longer even wear comfortable clothes because I was just so worried about being judged by other black people about being quote unquote too white.
That sounds like a very anxious experience for young Mikey.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure I kind of just chalked it up to the game. Like, I'm sure I blamed my mom versus like blaming the culture. But I was 11 years old. Of course I'm gonna blame my mom. Like, Mom, don't give me no fitted pants. I need big pants. And give me my white tee, my blue jeans, and my high top ones.
Is that how kids talk to their moms? I'm about to get the belt.
And that was that. So it's just that little policing about what we can do. Like if you swim, like if you play tennis or something, it's always
I played tennis in high school and I swam.
It's just so much that black people can't do, or we can do, but at the expense of being judged by others.
I think that girls have a little bit more freedom.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I really got that in high school. If anything, it was just like, Angela, you ain't got no butt. And I was like, okay, and like, because people expect black girls to have like, big old booties. My butt won't be coming until we have kids though. So
I know we keep hitting those hill.
We keep hitting the hill. I don't know. It's lifting. But that's the only thing. Like that's one thing I can think of.
Okay.
When it came to girls, it's like, yeah, white girl booty. No one told me white girl booty, but low key white girl booty.
Like I'm sure I made the joke because I always tell my guy Bags that because he doesn't have any rhythm, right? And we always say like he danced like a white boy, like that doesn't stop him from dancing or anything like that. But it's just little things like that maybe he will stop dancing one day because like, man, I'm sick of people talking shit about me.
Well, I still remember the booty comments, so it may. Them bitches ain't my friends no more. So
all right, so apparently that made you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Those comments.
It's self-esteem, high school. I mean, I still have my little ugly boyfriends, but I don't want my girls backing on me like that.
Yeah. I'm crying. Okay, so my next question is, because you hear this every election, every 4 years, every 2 years,
my goodness,
whatever the case may be, you hear black people say, black people are not a monolith. We are different. We don't all have to vote the same. You don't have to do this. You don't have to. If that's the case, if we aren't a monolith, why does that saying still exist? Why can't black people just be black people without being policed by other black people? Why do you think that still exists?
That's a very complicated question. I know I'm sounding like a politician saying that, but
Angie 2024.
Absolutely not. I'm not about to join the circus. I mean, it's the same speaking points that work. If they didn't work, they wouldn't use them, and that's what I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna back up from it because that's so big of a question that I can't even grasp it. So simply put, because it works and people listen and the white liberals like it, and that's the people who they're really talking to. They're not talking to us. They're talking to other white liberals. And if it's white people saying it, black Democrats saying it, they're just trying to pander to their white audiences.
Well, I'm not talking about black people being a monolith. I'm saying if we always say, because black people are the people that say that black people aren't a monolith. Why, if that's the case, why does white people shit? Why does that saying still exist?
I think it's taught.
Okay.
For us, a lot of times when we say stuff, it's because we heard it down.
True. Whether
it's like in our personal household or when we went to go visit an aunt or a cousin or went to go see some friends or at school. So it's taught. So it's a lot of like learned behavior. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people are disrupting that. I mean, there's no type of classroom curriculum to help dispel cultural myths and stuff like that. And a lot of parents, I mean, it's just not something that parents, maybe they don't have time to do it. And it just goes unchecked. And since it goes unchecked, it just goes down from generation to generation. That's why I think, honestly, our kids won't get a lot of like, hey, what happened at school? Oh, this happened. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's see what that means. And maybe they'll be a deeper thinker when it comes to that, versus just saying something that they're just repeating.
Okay.
Right? And then to assign certain qualities to white people and certain qualities to black people, it's that's hard. That's like really ingrained into cultural things. I don't know. I could write a whole paper on it, but it'll just take a lot of conversations and learnings at home. I mean, luckily, honestly, my mom didn't teach me that stuff, but we were in the hood, but I went to a private school. Mm-hmm. So my experience is completely different from a kid who went to a public school in Detroit, because we had certain type of support and resources, and we did have teachers that did certain things and monitored us to make sure that we would learn and stuff. It wasn't the best school, but it was good enough to where I didn't have to face a lot of that stuff until I went to high school, and that was a public school. But by then, it's like, well, a lot of stuff doesn't matter because everyone has their own clique.
Okay.
Right? It's not a lot of bullying. I mean, you bullying in high school, you childish. Like, you deserve to get your ass beat.
Right.
So, I mean, why do you think it still happens?
Yeah, I just think it's lack of, I don't want to say lack of education. I want to say lack of experiences. And I guess let me just go right into my uncomfortable truth then.
Ooh.
Because my uncomfortable truth is that, black people don't always get the full life experience. Right? And I was talking with this to my guy Rad when, I want to say last year, because we talked about 4th of July on the podcast last year, and I was like, should black people celebrate 4th of July? I think I asked, can black people be racist? Right? It's all these questions, and right, one person on the show said black people can be racist. Ooh. And people kind of got got upset at him for that. And like, oh, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that. Which, I don't agree with him saying that. But that's how he feel. And you get somebody like Joe Rogan, who get 9 million people watching him every episode, even more probably. Right? One episode he can have a conservative on. One episode he can have somebody liberal. He can have somebody that's trans. He can have somebody that's gay. He can have somebody that's anti that. He could bring on any. He had Hotep Jesus on. If you know who Hotep Jesus is, he's super Hotep. He could bring on anybody on his show and be fine. Versus people like somebody like me, if I bring on a super conservative Republican, I am going to get killed by black people. I can't do that. I can't even align myself with anything that black people don't agree with. So, and I'll give you an example of why I'm no longer listening to any of that. Because I went to Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which for one, people would have said, that's some white shit. Oh, you're going to Tennessee for your birthday? That's some white shit. But me and my family, we went and got a cabin in Tennessee for my birthday. And I wanted to go whitewater rafting. And everybody was like, you want to go do what? That's some white shit. So I'm thinking like, damn, so like I want to go zip lining. I'm going to do whitewater rafting. Everybody said that's some white shit. So me and my family went. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And I just thought like, what if I listened to them and not went and did that? Like I would have missed out on so much just because I'm trying to keep it real. Like, right, all we want to do is go out to the club, and smoke hookah. It's like, nah, I'm off that wave. Like, I'm spending my time. I want to go hiking. Like, I want to experience outdoors. I want to do more than just go to the club and stand on somebody's couch. Like, I'm past that wave. And if I get accused of white people shit, right, I'm having a golf birthday. My dad, my brother, my nephew, my whole family coming down for my birthday. But I'm going golfing for my birthday. I don't care if people say that's white people shit. I don't care. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. And I encourage all black people to get out there, go ride horses. I've been told that's white people shit. Go ride horses.
Oh, I rode horses before in South Africa. Ooh.
Yeah, that's super black.
Ooh.
So just go do any of that. Go do whatever you want and not worry about what other people are going to think because they can't live your life. So I think that's why that saying still exists, because people just, their lack of experiences, they think like what black people do is what we see. We see people play basketball, we see people play football. If you play golf, if you play hockey, if you do anything besides those two, you on white people shit. So I don't abide by that. I'm not following that. So that's my comfortable truth. Is that black people don't always get the full life experience. A lot of times, may not have the means to. But, watch the Discovery Channel. There's a lot of life out there. So, what's your uncomfortable truth, baby?
Wow, that was just so good. I'm just been over here smiling as you've been describing like your family vacation, even how like your nieces and nephews, or like your one nephew in particular that I'm thinking of, like he's like, oh, when we doing this again, like when we going to the cabin again,
he loved it. He loved it.
Right, because it's just so different.
Yeah,
so.
it's so like and I don't know if he wouldn't have had experience like that if it wasn't for us going at the time. So his view of vacation or whatever would have been so
world.
limited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we seen a black bear, like we seen mountains, like he loved every second of it. And now he knows it's so much more out there than just going to, Atlanta for the weekend, which I want to go to Atlanta for the weekend, but it's more, you can go to Tennessee, right? I don't even want to go to Montana because we're gonna get accused of white people shit if we go to mind you, nothing in Montana probably.
I don't want to see them blue people in Montana.
Where do black people vacation?
I think the blue people in Montana.
We went up north, which wasn't a great experience, but where do we vacation at? Miami, Atlanta, L.A., Vegas, New York, right?
That's why everybody broke, but
Houston.
Mm-mm.
Like we limit ourselves so much, and I don't want to keep doing that. I'm about to live some life.
And so that means that, I know I keep speaking about our kids, but the next generation in our family, like, they will have such a fuller life experience than we have, than our parents had, our grandparents, and even, like, their cousins and nephews, and, I mean, uncles and aunts. And that's how it was for me. Like, my mom made sure that I had certain experiences.
Talk to Miss James.
Made sure that I went on vacations, all this stuff.
Yeah,
but
you was in programs and
stuff. Yeah,
I
was in programs. I played tennis. I was willing to do certain things. I went to Princeton for one summer. And I was like, okay, well, I can do this. Let me strive for this. Which is why I ended up at that horrid ass school. But we're not going to focus my uncomfortable truth on that. So I love how you touched on how just saying white people shit is like limiting behaviors. And I feel like a lot of times what happens is when you hear that so much as a young person, like you start to police yourself to fit a certain image on what you think authentic blackness is and how you think that's tied to your identity. Because because at that time you think that blackness is a monolith, that you are supposed to fit that. If you're a girl, you think you're supposed to have a big butt. You think you're supposed to, look a certain way. And do all these other things and talk a certain way, right? It's like, is this really me? Or is this something that I just learned to fit into? So I think that us breaking the mold of that is just so necessary. And to also check this crabs in the barrel behavior. Because that's a lot of times what I'm hearing from you. And that's why I'm happy, like, you're breaking out of that. Personally, I have less experiences with crabs. But when I do, I cut them in half, right? Because we don't have time for crabs in our lives, right?
Nope.
Like, we crabs who've seen some shit. We crabs who experienced some life. And collectively, like, we've done that. And, like, we do a good job in checking that. But what I want to encourage everyone to do is to break out of that crabs in the barrel behavior. Like, when it comes to money and financing, it's time to do white people shit. Because, here's the thing. They live in this country that they stole wealth from us, and they've been able to maintain that wealth for a certain amount of time. Right? And if we only do what we see, we're never going to get the wealth that we need in society, because we can't depend on the government for reparations right now. I mean, there is some stuff happening on city levels, but for us to even, like, live our best life, and we're going to talk about that in another episode, it's like, we gotta break out of this mentality. We gotta stop categorizing shit as, like, white people shit and black people shit. Some stuff may be good, but if it takes away from your life, if it makes you sad, anxious, if you're afraid to be your real self around your friends, to talk a certain way, it's time to get a new group of friends. And there are many a times when me and Michael had to have hard conversations. I'm like, You know what I'm saying? Because we are breaking out of that mold. We only got one life to live. Y'all, I found one gray hair on my head last week.
Here she goes.
So I'm doing all types of shit. If you want to call that white people shit or not, that's on you. But that says more about you than it does about me. So the last thing I want to say is that it sounds like people who are continually to say this stuff have some trauma. Gotta go through that in therapy. May have different types of feelings of anti-blackness about being in a black body in America. Now that is take it how you want to. But we all need some healing being black in this country. You can love yourself, but then there are some deep-seated biases that even eat at who we are. And that's the truth. I mean, we are in North America, like, this country just built on so much shit, and it continues to run on so much shit. And that shit being anti-black racism, that shit being terrible sentiments that people have against Native Black Americans. Like, we have to think highly about ourselves, but to do that, we have to do different types of things. So, all that to say, y'all can eat your white people shit. I will say that keeping your shoes on in the house is some white people shit, as well as not washing your hands and letting your pet kiss you in the mouth, whatever. But I don't really see black folks doing that shit. So that's like, well, all right, well, I don't think I'm offending anybody, but if I am, it's because you nasty. You actually are bringing a lot of germs in your house and in your mouth. But wearing fitted pants, going hiking, okay, so you don't have to worry about your pants falling all the time. Oh, so you get exercise and you get to see beautiful views on a mountain. Oh, you're riding a horse and you just kiss your wife to be. That's a beautiful experience. Oh, you going scuba diving? Oh, you jump from a plane?
Swimming with the dolphins?
You swim with the dolphins? Hey, you reading books? Let me stop playing.
Yeah. Well, I'd say it's funny because while you're talking, and I like, you said, we need to get the finances. Like, that's what white people say we need to adopt. And that got me thinking, like, my friends, like, you say I dress nice now, which I really appreciate. Mm-hmm. But I didn't always dress like that. When I was in school, I wasn't working. I didn't want my mom spending all this money. So I just got me a black shirt, pants, some boots, a hoodie, right? I was a very basic dresser. And my friends, they still make fun of me to this day about some of the shit that I wore back in the day. And I was like, all right, well, let's tell the whole story now. Like, let's stop telling parts of the story. They said, what's the whole story? I said, while y'all was focused on fashion and other shit, I was worried about getting my education. So let's tell the whole story why I didn't care how I dressed. And it kind of got silent in the group message when I said that. Cause I think it's time that we do stop some black people shit. And I don't know if we want to have that conversation on this podcast. I don't know if we want to. Because, like, I went to a diaper party. My boy Miko, shout out to Miko, he's expecting a baby in August. I go there. People got on $4 shoes. They just wearing some pants.
But everybody got a boat.
But, everybody just got a nice house. They got boats. Everybody married. Right? Everybody, we talking about our 401k being fully vested, stocks, right? We talking about shit that really matter. Versus a lot of times you go to a black party, which I got a podcast. I love talking shit. But a lot of times, right, we get caught up in who's better, Jay-Z or Nas. Like, we talking about this again? Like, can we talk about some shit that's gonna move the culture forward? Like, are y'all doing crypto? Yes or no? If so, should I do it? Should I invest in AMC? Like, do y'all got some game for me? And I think that we get caught up in shit that really don't matter, like fashion and music and sports, just a little too much. And we need to start focusing on other things that really do matter. So, but if you want to have a conversation like that, it may not go over well, but I'm down, because if we're not going to have it, who will?
Well, the name of our podcast.
Uncomfortable truths, baby. All right, let's do it then.
So, do you want to mention that?
Nope. You're going to mention it.
No more recap shows for Run the World.
Let the people know why.
We're not bringing the recap show. I'm not bringing the recap show like I'm supposed to. And honestly, Run the World is a terrible TV show, in my opinion. So I'm not going to force myself to do something I don't want to do. And, if one half of us doesn't do it, then we don't do it. Because we're a team.
I respect, even though I disagree with her read of the television show, I think it's a great... Okay, let me rewind. I think it's a decent TV show.
C+.
And it's passing grade. How many D- white TV shows are there?
That's what I'm saying. I just need more D-, so I'm just like, not affected by this. But this is like, okay, don't hype it up and then deliver this.
So I mean, it's so hyped up because it's the only black woman TV show.
Okay.
Versus when we see the preview, they preview like 3-4 TV shows starring white women. So yeah, it's easy to have a dub with that, but when you the only one, like, you gotta bring it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on them. I think they are doing a decent job. The actors, I'm invested in their storyline. I think they need better writers
and producers.
But for the first season, first couple episodes, I'm invested. So I'm with y'all. Solid to y'all ladies.
I'm so happy that I can go back to just reading my books at night, and I don't gotta like stay up and do this shit. So no more recap shows, but feel free to watch the ones that we already posted online. And also don't forget to share. But we about to go into date night, so we about to call it a night. Talk to y'all next week.
All right, babe. Let's get out of here.
But before we go, always remember, it's better to be woke by the uncomfortable truth than rot to sleep with a bed of lies. Talk to you all next week.